Marcus, you should watch Barbie. It's good. It's worth an episode.
Who said that?
You guys said it's worth an episode.
Yeah, it's definitely worth an episode.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have strong takes that are going to...
You don't think that we're going to
I have very strong takes.
That's our
That's
point.
why it's going to be a great
You're
episode.
welcome.
Especially because it was a huge box office hit and it was a total miss.
Dude, terrible.
Well, we're going to talk about it.
Let's do it.
Next episode. Let's just do it. Let's change this episode.
We can't change mid-episode.
Welcome to The Cover, where three Hoosier friends judge books by their covers and movies by their trailers.
That's right. I'm Brett, here with my fellow Indiana natives, Remington and Marcus, ready to dive into the stories that keep us up all night and occasionally put us to sleep.
Whether you're a bookworm, movie buff, or just here for the witty banter, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll dissect a different book or movie, sharing fun facts, hot takes, and moments that make Marcus cry. Spoiler alert, we're not experts, but we're definitely opinionated.
From literary masterpieces to blockbuster flops, nothing is safe from our snarky reviews and wild tangents. Who knew Hoosiers could be this entertaining?
So grab your popcorn and reading glasses because we're about to embark on a hilarious journey through the pages and screens that shape our lives. Or at least our weekends.
You're listening to The Cover. Let's get the show on the road before one of our kids wakes up.
And go.
What's new, boys? I got a new.
Oh, me too.
Oh, okay. You
What's
go.
new, Brett?
Well, all right. No, okay.
Oh.
Rem
We
asked
can
me.
both. We can probably both go. Mine's not like
Okay.
super long.
I think we figured out how to master children's birthday parties. I think we got it down.
Oh,
So when you're new to the children's birthday party game, and but once they're in school, it is a tough transition to understand. You go in thinking, yeah, we're going to invite whoever you want to invite. Nobody else is coming. And then before you know it, 3 different classes are coming to your house for a birthday party. And what we just did this with Rose. It's her 6th birthday today as we record this. She left school, brought a friend with her, did a little shopping spree at Claire's, then did ice cream in indoor gymnasium at Chick-fil-A.
nice.
Riley got Chick-fil-A catering for dinner, dropped kid off, got home by 6, family was already there, done by 8, and everybody's so happy. we home run. So
The idea is let them have their thing with a friend or two,
versus
and then you do the family thing.
yes,
So can I
Please.
give another perspective here?
you do have some years of wisdom available.
2 things. Number 1, no birthday party at all. Big winner at my house.
Nice. He's gone full rogue.
Basically every other year. When you got 6 kids, you're having a birthday party every freaking month. It's the worst.
Reed, you know
So,
your evens.
Just
you know
no,
your evens.
Just
Reed.
no birthday party is an option. I got my birthday party taken away once. I lived. It's all good. Second thing is we really like having just a friend or 4 come over.
Yes.
But I would say after the age of like 6 or 7, we kind of pretty much stopped the friends and family birthday party part of it. It was just their friends. So, hey, what do you guys want? Well, they want to hang out with their friends. So we pretty much just do that.
So there is not a family birthday party for the older kids.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't. Neither one of your families are local,
True.
so little bit different. I don't know if we'll ever be able to escape that. I also looked out. And
Did
got
you
a
have
frickin-
family birthday parties when you were past the age of like 5?
Well, Marcus, I didn't know much of my family, so.
I mean, I didn't.
subject.
I didn't. I'm just. I
joking.
didn't. I'm just. That's my point.
And
And my family lived a mile. My grandparents lived a mile away.
I will say, I feel as though I lucked out with in-law situation, so I like it. So, and my kid, I don't know. I have all girls. I feel like girls are different too.
Girls are different.
Yeah. Well,
That's true.
Rem, do you have family or birthdays?
Do I have family over for birthdays?
Family or birthdays?
Oh, yeah. I have both. We have a fun tradition on Kelsey's side for at least the adults. They get to choose on their birthday, not waiting for a weekend, like the day of your birthday. You choose where we're all going out to eat that night.
I just told Riley I want this to be mine from now on. On my birthday, regardless of what day of the week it is.
Let's say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Sex.
Laser tag.
I want to just tell, hey, I'll be at Parks Place Pub at 6 o'clock. Whoever's there
Whoever's there.
Yeah.
I like it.
All my friends are there. My friends are already there.
And then sex and laser tag.
Dude, Parks Place, laser tag, then sex in any order is great birthday. Great birthday.
Well,
that was pretty funny. That was
Riley gave me crap for last week's episode. This is now. I did not start that.
That was my fault. So that was my fault.
We talked about waiting to watch Barbie as a group, and then all of a sudden Marcus texts the group. I just watched Barbie with Jessica.
He watched it, and guess what? He took notes, I bet, too.
Didn't take notes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And his response was, I like sex. And the response was, I get it. Yeah.
Marcus, what are we drinking tonight? Because I feel like
I haven't had it yet. Is it good?
This is called the Wake Up Martini.
Wake up, Neo.
Gin martini.
Exactly. It's a gin martini, but it's a little. There's no vermouth in it, so it's gin.
Wow.
Triple sec.
Vermouth or vermouth?
Vermouth. Yeah, vermouth probably.
Okay.
Gin, triple sec, splash of lime juice. Splash of lemon juice. Splash of maple syrup.
The maple syrup is a good, because without it would be it'd be a bite.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's the wake up part.
And shaken?
Yes,
yeah.
shake it.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Well, welcome to the Cover
Cheers.
Podcast. Cheers. I'm your host, Brett Wiggins, and as always, to my left is.
I was trying to think of a cool name.
I thought you were trying to think of what direction you said.
Marcus.
Sitting to my right is Sir
Remington Ramsey.
What are we covering?
Brett, when a Brit. We gonna finish?
I was gonna say tonight, but then I was thinking I was putting myself in Saturday night pastor mode, where it's like whenever you see them accidentally say tonight, and they know they're using that recording for Sunday morning, you just
have to wear the same t-shirt.
you just see them feel defeated in that moment. And that was
just alienated everybody.
Because everybody listens to this as soon as they wake up on Wednesday morning.
That's right. Even on Christmas Day.
Well, go ahead, Reb.
Brett, let me tell you, when a beautiful stranger leads a computer hacker, Neo, to a forbidden underworld, he discovers a shocking truth. The life he knows is an elaborate deception of evil cyber intelligence. This movie is The Matrix, 1999, R rating, 2 hours and 16 minutes, runtime, directors, the Wachowski brothers.
Ooh.
Wink, wink. Because they're actually sisters.
But
They call themselves the brothers.
Yeah, they do.
I thought you would know this because you said the person. Oh, it was the actor that you know a lot of fun facts about.
No, the creator of the story is I just saw a bunch of reels from her. This is Black Lady.
So she has nothing to do with the Matrix?
Yes, but she didn't direct. I think she sold the whatever. She did Terminator and this.
The director is like was a renowned transgender.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is really interesting that you have obviously politically left directors and writers writing this piece that, for all intents and purposes, has a lot of Christ-like images.
Yes.
Oh
man.
yeah.
So many themes. What do we know going
This is
into
definitely allegorical.
Well, won't hold that against you. That's for each man.
I won't, because I've already forgotten what that means. Going into it, Marcus, you remember the first time you watched it?
What's the difference between allegorical and metaphorical? Explain that to me.
I believe that a metaphor is. What are you looking it up
it's
right
just
now?
funny. We have producer Nate back with us, and we made the joke last time. We don't know what he's going to choose to look up or not.
Yeah.
So I always just look over to see what he's up to.
He showed up
He's
today
got
with
his
a
computer
laptop.
today. He's ready to go.
It's the best
He's
part of the
ready to
show.
go.
It's the best part of the show. I just remember sitting there. Brett's like, "Who is the owner of the Browns? Who is the owner?" And Nate's over here watching the game on his phone.
Simile and metaphor are the two that they teach you the difference between at some point. And I feel like simile.
What you just added a third word in there?
Yeah,
for me?
it's all the similes where you're using actual objects.
A story, poem, or picture.
Story, poem, or picture.
Oh.
That represents something. Else. So it's an entire story.
So then, what's
an
the difference
entire
between a
poem,
metaphor?
an entire picture.
Oh, so a metaphor
is just a
It
phrase.
could be just a.
Yep. And then a simile would be, it's like something.
Yes.
You know, you're.
Her hair glowed like the moon.
I don't think that's a simile.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
Nate's,
not.
I'm getting a head nod
No,
from Nate.
glowed like the moon. That's
You're-
a simile would be like that's not a simile.
Oh, please tell me what a simile is, Rem.
Wouldn't it
Well, I
be
just
just
learned
her
what it
hair
is, but
was
let me
like
tell
the
you.
moon? But you're saying that it glows like
Your
the
breasts.
glow of the moon.
They're below your throat. Shout out Knight's Tale. People tune into this to learn.
Wake up, Neo.
Marcus, when's the first time you saw it?
First time I saw this movie had to be high school. I don't know when in high school.
What'd you know going into it?
I remember in middle school wishing that I could watch The Matrixes.
I was not into like that kind of stuff. I didn't care about like sci-fi and even fantasy. I like Lord of the Rings.
Sci-Fi? I love Sci-Fi.
Sci-fi.
So I was probably 8th, 9th, 10th grade, something like that. Would
And
be my
then
guess.
you wanted to see it. This was...
Yeah, because I remember in maybe 7th grade, the second and third ones were starting to come out and people were talking about them, but, you know,
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to watch them.
Yeah.
So.
No, there's a big deal at my school for sure. There
Yeah.
were there were most of the kids in my school would have fallen in this category, but there were definitely those of us where our parents would let us watch whatever we wanted, and those kids would talk about this movie nonstop.
It's just interesting how far you can go back to have a single movie that defines how people believe AI is going to take over. So like 2001 Odyssey, when did that come out? Stanley Kubrick, 60s?
70s, I think.
70s. So, I mean, that I feel like that's the first one I know of that kind of like started the whole thing. I could be wrong there too. I'm sure there was.
Well, there was, yeah,
I'm
sci-fi
sure there was
before
books.
that, yeah.
I mean, 1984 talked about Big Brother. So, I mean, all this stuff, but like there's like almost a movie or story that defines a decade of us believing AI is going to take over. And that was definitely The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was end of elementary school, I think.
Terminator would be in this same vein.
1968, Remington was right, Marcus was wrong. Go ahead, Brett.
Fight scenes primarily.
I was closer.
You weren't, I was right.
You said the 60s. I said 70.
Get out of here.
I'm way closer.
Get out of here.
I actually did not know about all of the extra themes or the AI part or any of that. I just remember knowing and remembering like the fight scenes were so ahead of their time and
Really?
so awesome. Yeah,
Graphics.
I did not understand the big picture scope or the actual message of the movie until like probably fully this time when I watched it.
Hey,
That's
so-
interesting because
Yeah.
I watched this. I knew that I knew that there wasn't any real sex in this one, and I thought that it would blow Reed's mind. So I watched it with Reed.
Oh, nice.
And it
Okay,
was
hold on.
awesome.
I'm tracking with you, but the way you said that was
Well, the second one has some sex.
Okay,
like,
but like you-
serious.
Yeah.
so you're trying to avoid that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll watch it.
Because you know the way it sounded like
I'll watch an R-rated. I'll watch an R-rated movie.
And
If it avoids
I
sexual
knew
content.
it was gonna blow Reed's mind.
It's like you've been waiting to have the talk with him. It's like I'm just gonna show the Matrix. So we're screening it in the background. What's the significance of this? Is almost like
The window washing?
Yeah, the Fight Club. And by the way, we're watching it for free on Prime, which is like through Paramount. And some of my notes talk about like the stop cuts and the fade outs, but I think that was just for TV because I don't think there was like these
Oh,
90s
because it's
fade outs.
Paramount.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, didn't you guys feel like Fight Club vibes when he's in there and like can't pay attention to anything except for the window cleaning? What was that?
I think
To
it's
show that
I
he's just
think there's
out of
this
it?
like discontent.
yes.
Yeah,
So
just, I don't care if you
himself
fire me.
And Edward Norton's character.
Yeah.
Fire
Me, I
they're
dare
both
you, whatever. Yeah.
They're both like searching for something more. They're both discontent.
Fight Club first, Matrix first.
Fight Club was 94.
Oh wow. Okay, so I could see there being
might be
some
wrong about
influence
that.
there. Rem, do you remember
You're pretty close.
what you knew about it? What you when you saw it for the first time?
I have no idea. It was 99. I lied. I felt wrong when I said
Was
it.
this
They
also
came out the
99?
They were
same
both
year.
99.
Wow.
But if you remember when we did Fight Club, Fight Club
It's the
had
turn of the millennium,
so
man.
many more very controversial scenes that they ended up cutting out because it wouldn't release well. It was I just saw actually. Did Riley post it? The acceptance speech for all the awards from Fight Club.
No.
And it's Fincher, Norton and Brad Pitt, and when they accepted their Golden Globe or whatever, they were just reading all the reviews that were trash.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it was like way ahead of his time, even more so than The Matrix. I feel like Matrix was ahead of his time with the graphics and everything like that.
It was ahead of its time, but if it was accepted.
right,
Like
it was
blew
accepted.
Up. Yeah, Fight Club
huge.
did not blow up necessarily. Right?
Correct.
You saw it as an adult. Saw it.
I don't remember the first
No?
time I saw it, and honestly, I didn't digest it all when I saw it because I felt like I watched it for the first time. Like I remember the
Yes.
details about like the things everyone remembers when he dodges bullets and when he takes the red pill. But when it comes to like really truly understanding like how AI took over and you're in a simulation,
Yes.
like that was all.
I
kinda new to me
got
this
that the
time.
Matrix.
Wow.
I got that the Matrix was Earth as we know it. But like really understanding. Like I bet I could watch it again and even get more for sure.
For sure.
30-second synopsis, aka Marcus's 9 words and some slam poetry. Seeing as he's counting, I'm gonna go ahead and go first. 30-second synopsis. Here we go. Follow the White Rabbit. He's the one. Morpheus believes it. You want out of the Matrix? You find a phone. You want the truth? You take the red pill like Neo. Now he needs a dial tone. We find out the Oracle just said what she needed to. We also find out Cypher would rather enjoy a lie than deal with the truth. Will we ever learn to not push AI? I asked ChatGPT. It said no. Nice try. Trinity's love for Neo proved to her he'd take the agents toe to toe. Dodging bullets, defeating agents. Now the one believing is Neo.
That was solid, Brett.
Thank you. It was actually under 30 seconds too.
Made me laugh.
I'll admit, when I wrote I asked ChatGPT line, I felt pretty good about that one.
You need to throw. These,
I got the biggest laugh.
You
for
need
sure.
to throw your whole script of these on a post. so people
Ooh,
can
that'd
check
be
them
fun.
out.
By the way, I just I uploaded the PDF of I've got my dang near final manuscript. My editor needs to touch it up.
Brett's writing a book right now. For those of you who don't know, did you land on a title? Can you say it yet? Is it patented?
How to lead. Ooh. We'll make sure it's patented before this comes out.
We'll
How-
tell you what it is later.
Would it be patented or trademarked?
Trademarked.
How to lead what you didn't learn in college. And
Is that what you landed on?
Yep.
I like it.
And I PDF ChatGPT, and dude, the Amazon book summary it wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
What's cool is now you have so much content in
Yes,
ChatGPT.
I can literally
that
just
you can start putting thoughts together and say, write this in the tone of Brett Wiggins.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
dude, excited. Yeah. So, ChatGPT, shout out, great job. Do you pay for the ChatGPT 4 or whatever?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
I show up. I do the thing.
Marcus.
All right. Is reality really reality? Neo journeys to find truth.
I thought you were gonna run out. I thought you were gonna run out.
Yeah,
I
felt like you were going to have 10 words instead of 9.
Good for you.
Had to take some articles out of there.
Articles.
Articles.
Conjunctions.
Know what those are.
Adjectives.
We've had this conversation at least twice.
Remember, I retained 70% for the first time. zero to 70.
So it sounds like I've watched this movie more than you guys have.
Mr. Anderson.
Dude, I think I watched it a couple times in like elementary and middle school, and then probably not again until now. And it's
Did you
so
guys
good.
never have Matrix team nights?
No.
Matrix theme
Well, I mean, I'm
team
sure we
nights?
did, but I
D-Money.
wasn't into it.
D-Money.
Okay, so
Oh, man, I
let me ask you
totally
this.
stole that from
Where
him.
does this trilogy rank in all the trilogies for you? Have you guys filled out my spreadsheet yet?
No.
Have you
Here-
even looked at it?
I've
Have you
looked
said-
at it,
Producer
yes.
Nate's filled it out? Did you fill it out? Oh, sweet. I'm going to check it out. So you guys haven't filled
What
out
else are
any
you going to do while we're talking here?
So you haven't
Nate's-
filled out any of the columns?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thanks for checking them.
yeah, right. Yeah, right.
so
let me just
I
throw
do
out
remember-
some trilogies.
I do remember
Let's
2
play
and 3.
name game.
2 and 3 of the Matrix are subpar, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
really?
No.
No,
They did well.
Okay, all right.
And if I remember, I think the second one at least is really well
Okay.
received. So I guess there's 2 questions then. Where does this rank in terms of epics, and then where does the trilogy rank? But like, let's play name game for a second. What would you deem better? And I guess has to be our rankings based on what we would want to watch again. But Lord of the Rings, Matrix, Mangus,
Lord of the Rings.
Brett.
Just the first one or the whole?
Let's do trilogy.
I thought you were saying the whole thing.
Yeah,
the
whole
trilogy
thing,
itself.
Whole trilogy.
I will pick Lord of the Rings because honestly, I don't think I've really dug into 2 and 3 of Matrix.
Indiana Jones. Let's just do franchises. It doesn't have to be trilogy, but franchises. Indiana Jones, Matrix.
Matrix, because I've
Matrix.
never seen Indiana Jones.
Whoa. Here we
Gosh,
go.
Brett.
Dude, you're going to love Indiana Jones.
Gosh.
I hope you get sick or break an ankle because then you can stay
Indiana
at
Jones
home
is like the
and
perfect.
watch the whole
There are
franchise.
so many better options.
No, dude, I
No,
broke my
there's
wrist.
not.
I broke
No.
my wrist. No, he's saying.
No.
He's saying
like reasons
what can
to-
happen to you.
Like,
There's
just
a lot
say-
of worse
Just say, Brett.
True.
Just block out your calendar.
No,
for
you're
3
not going to
days.
do it. Then you have a good reason. You're like, I broke my
Yeah,
ankle.
that's fair.
I have to.
There was one summer that is actually the summer I started selling Cutco.
Mhm.
I worked at Potato Creek State Park at the night shift. So I would do these 9-hour
I remember
shifts.
this.
I did these 9-hour shifts where I'm the only person there, and I had no real job. Like I had nothing to do except for make sure people didn't enter into this place. And I had my laptop, and I would watch like the entire Matrix trilogy in one night, or as much of Lord of the Rings as I could watch.
Do you remember when you drove to Cleveland right after doing that?
Dude, the Cleveland, it's worse than that. I actually drove to Indy,
Oh,
and then I did Hobie for a weekend and didn't sleep for like 4 days, and then I drove to Cleveland
All right,
and met Jeff Bry.
listen to this. So Nate's the only other person who filled out the top 9 spreadsheet, and he hands it to me, and I'm looking. I'm like, dude, you've got some great taste in movies. It was my spreadsheet. All right, so here
That's
we go.
how I feel when I listen to the podcast and I hear one of my jokes and
Yeah,
start
here we
laughing.
go. You're like, you should say that, Marcus. All right, here you go. Batman, Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan series, Matrix, or Dark Knight series.
I'm gonna say Dark Knight because
The fact that you're taking so long is
the other ones are so good. I mean,
Dark Knight. The Dark Knight trilogy is way beyond Matrix.
However, if I had to pick just one, the first movie of each, I would pick Matrix.
I probably would still pick Batman Begins, but The Dark Knight itself is one of the greatest movies of all
Well,
time.
The Dark Knight is the
It was
best.
one of the greatest performances.
Is
of
the
all time.
best of the 6.
6.
But I'm saying if you
The
there's
3 and
6
3.
movies and
Yeah.
and we're gonna throw out the 4th Matrix movie, but
I didn't know there was four.
Obviously,
but
Brett didn't know there was one.
I didn't.
I think I would still go Matrix by a slight margin.
No way.
Yeah.
Over the Batman trilogy.
Yes,
You would
I
pick the
understand.
My
what
rating
you're
is going to
saying,
surprise
yes.
you guys so much.
I
already know.
All right, Harry Potter, Marcus. Harry Potter trilogy or franchise or the Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yeah, you hate Harry Potter.
I hate the movie so
Toy
much.
Story.
Oh man. Oh man.
Matrix for me. Matrix for me.
What do you got, Brett?
Oh man. Again, I really don't think that I'll have to rewatch second and third. I'm picking Toy Story based on the fact that I was really under the impression that I did not like the second and third Matrixes as much.
All right.
If you don't understand what's going on and you're just there for the action, that makes complete sense.
Final
Well,
one.
maybe now I would really appreciate it.
Final
Yeah,
one, and I think you guys are gonna struggle to really like just define it. Maybe you know, but Marcus, it sounds like you just love the Matrix,
I think it's very, very good.
the Bourne series,
Mm.
Bourne franchise, or
Matrix.
Matrix.
Matrix. Bourne's good.
I'm Bourne. I'm just not. I mean, maybe
I
I'm just
really
not
like
into
the
it.
Bourne. I really like the Bourne trilogy a lot, but I would say the Matrix.
So, what do you love about it so much?
Let's talk about that.
Well, one thing I love is how allegorical it is. You've got Neo, who's the clear Jesus character.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Morpheus, who's pretty clearly the John the Baptist character.
Yep.
You've got, I mean, at the end, Neo literally sacrifices himself and then is resurrected.
Cypher. You
So
got
how does
Judas.
this happen when you have clearly two people who are not Christians writing the script?
Because the biblical story is built into a ton
True.
of literature all over.
True, but like let me throw a wrench at that because even did we talk about how J.R. Tolkien didn't like C.S. Lewis writing?
Yeah, well, I don't know if we've talked about it, but
So J.R. Tolkien didn't like Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. He thought it was way too. I can't remember the words he used, but he was just
childish, right?
he was like, "Cool, man. You used Aslan to do like you used a
It's
lion
too
to
literal.
die. It's too
Yeah.
literal. It's like exactly what happened to Jesus, except it's a lion. Like you didn't use any imagery at all. Although I'm reading it with my kids right now, and the ability of C.S. Lewis to it almost makes me want to cry. The chapter where basically the witch comes in and says, "You owe me Edmund. Like Edmund is mine, and I'm going to kill him." And Aslan says, "No, I will take his place, and I will die instead." When you're a kid and you're learning about Jesus, it's that simple. But something happens. I feel like this in my own life, as someone who studies scripture pretty religiously, and people who don't. We overcomplicate this story. We have all these other things that we throw in there. We have all these other confusion points of the life of Christ and history and all this. But when you read that chapter, it's just that simple.
Yep.
We're going to die. And that's the rule. And he steps in and says, "No, I'm going to die instead. And then I'm going to come alive and rule." Like it's that simple. And when you're a kid, it's like, yeah, I get it. It makes sense. I'm going to believe that.
I think that's what I really appreciate about The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I shifted. I don't necessarily agree. I kind of agree with J.R. Tolkien because if you read Tolkien and you're like, that's allegorical. I mean, whoa, the in-depth story there. But anyway, to get back full circle to...
I also like just what it says about the human condition. Also based it on Plato's cave analogy. Like all of these different things that speak to the human condition itself.
Why do I know what Plato's cave analogy is? I know what that is, and I just learned about it or studied it somewhere.
Oh, well, CJ talked about it in his sermon.
Got it. I was like,
a
why?
couple weeks ago.
'Cause that's not something I would know.
Catch me up. What's Plato's cave?
Bunch of
Plato
peop-
had a cave, and every time he rang the bell, the cave would come in.
No, there's people in a cave, and basically the fire, they can't see the fire, they just see the shadows, and they believe the people
Okay,
that are...
they're prisoners.
Okay, there you go. Go
Pavlov's cave.
No, it's not Pavlov. Is that what you were? Is that
Yeah.
the joke you were trying to make?
I couldn't figure out who I was thinking. It's Pavlov's dog.
No, definitely worth reading. Basically, they've got prisoners that are in this cave, and they've got a fire in between the prisoners and the cave wall, or sorry, in between the prisoners and the entrance. So the fire is casting shadows onto the cave wall.
Okay.
The prisoners are only looking at the cave wall.
Okay.
So their entire reality, all they've ever known, all they've ever grown up with, are the shadows on the wall.
Okay.
That's all they've seen. One prisoner is able to break free, goes out, sees the real world,
Okay.
sees, smells, sees sees the sun, sees all this stuff, wants to go back and tell everybody about this real world, and they basically reject him. And they say, no, this is reality. This is what we want. It's like, no, there's something so much better over here that I've now been made aware of. And he's trying to tell them about it, but they won't go because they're content to watch the shadows on the wall.
What was Plato saying the real world, what the real experience was? Because he's not a Christian.
Enlightenment would be his
So he's
thing.
talking about
Like,
the afterlife.
he's talking about just a deeper level of understanding and learning.
Of what the world is.
Yeah, because he's a philosophizer.
Okay, so he's a philosophizer, and everyone else is just level. When did he exist?
And if you
was he medieval or like just Victorian or?
No, I mean he was
Roman Catholic Church times. I mean, he was, right?
Well, he would have been like predated Christ.
Same. I feel like he was
428 BC.
Yeah, so he predates Christ. Like all of the
so
stuff.
not Roman Catholic Church.
Would not have aced that on the test.
Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all of those guys came before. So that was what was influencing all the Greeks. And they talked about this unknown God. Paul goes to the Greeks. Paul says, this unknown God that you're looking for, that's this guy. And oh, by the way, Jesus is God and he died for you.
I did know that. I'm caught up now in my own head. The ability to recall things that you know it's not always
weird.
easy.
Well, but it is weird how our brains work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it works like a computer? Like
Not
it's
mine,
file
because
folder.
I would have known what he
Well,
just
once
said.
we have AI that's supplementing what we're doing, then
Dude,
yes,
I've been
absolutely.
reading up on that, and I don't want that.
Dude.
I want to be dumb.
I think I,
don't
do
want
too.
that.
I
They
don't know.
basically, do you know what they're doing?
Mm-mm.
They're basically creating this chip that unlocks the part of your brain that blocks memory. It unlocks your memory. So it's basically what you're saying, treating your brain like a computer, and it's helping you file it better.
So they go in and rewire stuff inside?
I don't know how it works, but basically, like, that's what's happening.
Oh my goodness.
I
And
thought
it's
my
already
understanding
happening, by
was
the way.
essentially like, instead of having to type into something like ChatGPT, you're able to just think about it, and then you've got
Yep, that exists
you've
too.
got a computer that is basically doing the work for you, and then spits it back out to your brain, and boom.
That's
I'm
happening
so
right
scared.
So as long as you can think of the questions, you're good to go because
I
you're
mean, think
going
about
to get
it.
the answers.
now. Think about it. Like, the only thing that's stopping that right now is sound, because you can say, "Hey Siri, what's the answer?" and within a second, like, imagine trying to tell someone 10 years ago that you just ask a question out of thin air and something
Right.
around you answers it. But now we all have phones and we think that.
Do you guys ever ask questions about sports teams and it just gives you the most recent score of that game and it makes you so mad?
All the
It's
time,
the worst.
man.
It's the worst.
Yeah. How tall is
I
Pat
was-
Mahomes? Kansas City won.
Yes.
20
I definitely don't use Siri as much as you guys do.
I just did it today because Drew tried to say Jordan couldn't even beat the Grizzlies before he got Scottie Pippen. And I was like, hey, Siri, when were the Memphis Grizzlies an NBA franchise? The Memphis Grizzlies are losing to the New York Knicks 49-40. It's 95, by the way.
It's limited.
Yeah, Drew from Cleveland, one of our listeners. All right, what made us stop and think plenty here to talk about? First thing that made me stop and think, that green WB opening took me back.
Mhm.
Took me back. Oh, dude, immediately.
I didn't even notice it was green until Kelsey's like, "Why is everything green?"
Yeah, that was a Matrix
We
move, right?
almost got a grasshopper tonight as our drink.
Oh, I would have done a grasshopper.
But I decided to get this.
Those
'cause
apple
it
teenies
looks like
for the
it was,
Social Network episode were stellar.
they
There's
were
a lot of
good.
stellar drinks going on.
I'm liking this one. I don't know if you guys like it, but
I like it.
I'm digging it.
Was the internet the reason they thought of this movie? Do you think the emergence of the internet and what it is why they...
Well, that's the vehicle that they were able to use.
Yes.
Because you could see the AI is coming.
Yes.
Because you've got the internet. So that's the vehicle that they use to tell the same story that's been told since 428 BC.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I was listening to Rewatchables today, and they were doing Friday Night Lights, and they were talking about how they're revamping Friday Night Lights, the show, and it's a completely different series now because the players have NIL deals and social media, which they didn't have in the original. So it's a completely different show.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about this question you're asking. You guys really need to watch The Space Odyssey 68 because they had computers and
It's been a really long
they
time
had
since I
AI,
watched
they had
this.
intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all this existed.
Well, Star Trek
before
did
Al
that.
Gore invented the internet.
Star Trek did that. I mean, we see this all through time,
Right.
is that people have been guessing that this is what was going to... The Jetsons, right?
So it's not the reason they made the movie. You're saying, well, they incorporated it because it was
Sure,
made in
it was
1999.
hot at the
Got
time.
it.
99. I mean, by 99, there's already been 5 years of dialing in to play Age of Empires. So, like, it was very big.
Dude, I will never forget 5th grade. We got a home computer.
Mm-hmm.
That winter break.
Mom, don't take any calls. I just built a Tesla.
Oh, so good. What?
Yeah, dude. Red Alert. No one played it.
I played Red Alert,
You
but not
play Age of
online.
Empires?
I didn't play it
No.
online.
Man, as soon as it connected, let's go. Building this army just to lose. I loved it. Age of Empires and Red Alert.
Never played.
We just saw it. We're screening in the background again. I think Trinity's actually the first one that has the camera spinning. Like our first glimpse of a 360
view.
camera situation that I think, I mean, I had never seen anything like that. That was wild to me. And now, like, I can envision how they do it, but
It's so funny. When you say I had never seen anything like that, all I can think of, this guy doesn't remember any movies he ever sees. And then he sees that, and then he goes, that's the first one ever. That's the first. Nobody ever.
I just remember that being such a big deal.
It
It was
was.
such a big deal. It's huge. What else made us stop and think? What do we got?
I was bumming out on all the things that I think were just made for TV bloopers because audio sound was up and down. I just kept writing down, come on, 90s.
The first scene has you questioning everything, right? Because Trinity is there and she's going against those agents and she runs, and then she puts she puts the phone up and somebody hits her with the big
you don't know if
Mack
she's
truck.
alive.
You have no idea, and then they say she's gone, and you're like, what? What happened? What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that it starts with a question like that. For you as the viewer, you're trying to figure it out from the jump. Like, where am I? What is going on? How does this all work together? And to be able to watch it with Reed the very first time, he was like, in his 12-year-old brain trying to figure out. And he even says at one point, he's like, this makes me feel like I'm not alive.
Oh,
Dude.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's trippy.
Because
It
you
would
think about it, you're like,
definitely
well,
make you,
this
like,
could
question
be
things.
true.
Yes. Yeah.
There's definitely, especially if you, what are we drinking?
Wake up.
Yeah, if you're drinking a wake up and all of a sudden like he starts saying this is a dream, you're like starting to poke yourself,
Yeah, dude.
you know? So when you're watching it with your kid, is he like my wife and he's asking questions every 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was so annoying. I was also watching it with my wife.
That reaction.
I was also watching it with my wife, who usually says a bunch of stuff, and then they start laughing with each other because they know that they're annoying me with all their questions. It was bad.
Oh, yeah, you can't
I
give him
do
that
love-
satisfaction.
Well, what's really bad is that I know all the answers, but if I tell him the answers, then that just
Good for
ruins the experience.
For sure.
I do love how this movie just goes. To your point, no explanations,
It's
no build up.
fast-paced.
Just go. I love that about it.
Dude, have you ever had a dream that you were so sure was real? Like,
Well-
so sure.
Have you ever had? I mean, yes, I have had that, but the bigger thing for me is when I get deja vu, and I wrote that down here too because like I will have deja vu.
I don't know that I've ever had deja vu.
Dude.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you know what the phenomenon? Like, do you know what it feels like?
Well, no, I've never had it.
I mean, I will literally be in a situation that is very random. Like, it could be sitting here with you three, you know, talking about something specific. But normally it happens with someone who, it's like I had a dream years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who the people were in the dream.
And now you're realizing.
And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there and it's happening, and I'm like, this has happened before.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Dude.
This happens to you?
Yeah, it's especially
is,
really crazy when it's not a scenario like this. So every Monday we get together.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be weird to me.
That's not
even
what
if
it would
something
happen.
it would
Yeah.
feel kind of weird. What's weird is like the first time you're in a new city and you meet someone for the first time
Yes.
and then you have deja vu.
Yes.
That's weird.
And you're like, I
It-
know you. I know
It
this person.
freaks me out.
You can actually track and then you said that and then I said this.
Yep.
And then you can kind of play it out and be like, okay, it's over, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
weird.
man.
Yeah.
It is messed up.
So you've never had it?
No.
Do you have vivid dreams?
Yes.
I don't know if it's linked to dreams for me. Maybe it is for you though.
Well, whether it is or not, I feel like I saw it in a dream.
Yeah. You've been there before. You've literally been there before.
Well,
Even
Yep.
though it's not possible that you were there before.
By the way, so the reason you're bringing that up is the scene where he sees the cat and
Yeah.
he says, I've experienced deja vu. And then all five of them are like, where? What did you experience? Don't you think they should
It's
have
a glitch in the
prepared him
Matrix.
that if something that big of a glitch is going to make the world crumble, hey, by the way, if you feel deja vu.
Well, it doesn't make the
'Cause what
world
if he
crumble.
doesn't
It just
say-
means that they
What if
changed
he doesn't
something.
say
Yeah.
deja vu? What if he doesn't
it
say
means
that
they
was weird?
It means they reset.
It just means that
it's
they
a-
changed something.
Yeah,
Which is important because they're about to kill them all. Wait, what'd you see? Okay, we're all gonna die.
But yes, very vivid. I've had, literally just the other night, I woke up and I was like, I made myself wake up from my dream
Yeah, I
because
don't wanna-
because I was like, this is a terrible dream.
Which is really terrible for kids because like so Piper is 5 and she had a terrible dream the other night and woke up and came down crying at 4 a.m. Didn't want to go back to bed. I finally got her back to bed, but now like she associates that for the next couple nights. Stop it.
Every time she tries
Stop
to
it. He's starting to fade and we still have another episode.
every time she tries to go back to bed, she can't stop
She
thinking about
can't
it.
stop thinking about it. And so when I'm putting her down, like she starts crying, can you stay with me and all that. But what's interesting is she can't remember anything about the dream. So I ask her, I'm like, what was in the dream? She goes, I can't remember. I just remember it was really bad. That's so sad.
Yeah, when you said that, what came to my mind was when I wake up and I think it was real, and I'm like, dude, Riley's gonna kill me.
Yeah, we've had those before.
Riley's
Dude,
gonna
we've
kill
gone
me.
an entire day before where I'm like, why are you mad at me? And she goes, well, I didn't want to tell you, but an hour ago I figured out it was a dream I had. But you shouldn't have done it there either.
Wow. You really messed up.
Yeah, apparently.
You know who actually played a phenomenal role in this movie? The agent.
Yeah.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
He does
Elrond.
awesome. That's his. What?
That's his. That's
He's
probably
he's
his,
in
What's a bigger role, Elrond or the agent?
probably the agent.
Get out of here with your Matrix love affair.
I picked Lord of the Rings, but the agent is a bigger. Everybody knows Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. Yeah, you could be right. I just love Lord of the Rings.
I mean, he's great in both of them, so I'm not disparaging.
Have you guys watched?
And I picked Lord of the Rings. Over
Rings
the
of
Matrix.
Power on Prime.
Yeah,
Really good.
It's a series.
Yeah.
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
It's very good. And
I've
their
kind of
fiction-
sworn off the series spin-offs of movies because I'm like,
Which
I'm
one
not
let
going
you
to
down?
commit. I'm not going to commit to watching all this.
Why?
But the
What are you watching instead?
Well, there's a lot of great things to watch.
Barbie.
But the Marvel, the Marvel things, all
Hey,
those
Marcus,
spin-offs.
you should watch Barbie. It's good. It's worth an episode.
Who said that?
You guys said it's worth an episode.
Yeah, it's definitely worth an episode.
Oh my gosh.
You don't
Dude.
have strong takes that are going to.
You don't think
you-
that we're
Well,
going
I
to
have very strong.
That's
takes.
our
That's
point.
why it's going to be a great
You're
episode.
welcome.
Especially because it was a huge box office hit and it was a total miss.
dude. Terrible.
Well, we're going to talk about
Let's do it.
it. Next episode. Let's just do it. Let's change this episode.
We can't change
much time we
mid
got
episode.
Why does Neo keep wanting to take the easy way out? What's he
your,
fighting?
What makes you say that?
He just like so the off like okay, he's supposed to go outside and like scale the outside of the building to get to that thing, and he decides to give up and get arrested. As one example.
I don't recall that, but
Right at
I
the
do know that
beginning.
he chose the red pill and he tried to jump, and I don't think he.
Before the red pill, there are many moments where he chooses like to
Mm.
not just lean into it.
Lack of faith.
Yeah.
Lack of faith.
Yeah,
Which is
his
why
faith
it's hard
has
for
to
me to
build.
say that he's a Christ-like figure.
He's their version
I know.
of a Christ.
It's hard for me to say that that's like a Christ-like figure when they have like those obvious imperfections that Christ would have had.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
That's why this movie's terrible and your takes are awful.
Okay.
However, it does speak to election because once God's chose you, you can't.
Yeah, who'd you vote for?
Can't mess it up.
Well, that's
Oh,
kind
that
of
election.
true because he had to choose to be the one.
Yes.
No.
Well,
She told him what he needed to hear.
right. And until he believed, yeah.
He had to make that choice. He had to turn around and say, "No, I'm going to go back."
Jesus didn't have to choose to be Jesus. He had to choose to die.
I'm not. We don't need to belabor the Jesus thing.
Yeah. Totally.
Other than the fact that he's the one.
Who's a more
dies, is
realistic
resurrected.
Christ-like character, Harry Potter or Neo?
Oh man.
I'm going to go with Neo.
You've never even seen Harry Potter.
Yes, I have. I've seen all the Harry Potters. Never read the books, though.
Well, that's
While
a
you're
good
thinking
question.
about that, I
That's
have a
good
question. So AI uses the humans as an energy source, but still let the humans simulate life, which is how some people actually live. It's an interesting take on people living lazy, brain dead lives. That's kind of what I was taking out of it. Because the bad guy, who's the bad guy?
Mr. Smith.
No, who's the guy that stabs in the back?
Cypher.
Cypher decides. He's like, I know it's a lie.
Yep.
I know it's a dream, and I choose to live a fun dream.
I want to go look at the shadows in the
I
cave.
want to be that way. I want to be living. Basically, I want to live in sin, which is.
I know this steak isn't real. I still want to eat this steak.
Yeah, I still want it. I still want fake reality because that fake reality is better than my real reality. And it's just like all those people. That's the scary part to me. Is
But
that
they don't
people
know that they're in there.
But my argument from this take is that even when people would know, a lot of them would side with Cypher.
They just don't want to know.
Yeah,
The reason they don't know is because they don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Leave me in there. I'm fine.
Because when Trinity asks Neo, she says, "You know what the question is."
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't tell him the question. He says, "What is the Matrix?" So it's almost like that question is in everyone's brains at some level. Like they know that it's a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what I'm saying.
We lie to ourselves
they would
all the
rather
time.
they would rather live in that simulation, in that comfort.
Yes, comfortable. That's the word that I wrote down. Comfortable.
It was unclear like why Neo was struggling with all these issues. What my interpretation was is he was a computer geek living in chat rooms and he had been doing some research.
Well, so I don't know if you guys caught it. There's a picture of Morpheus up on his computer.
Oh, the actual Morpheus.
He had been
How'd
searching.
he figure out?
I don't know, but he had found something out.
Well, Morpheus, from his perspective, was just a hacker.
Yes.
Yeah. But he actually found the picture of the dude that it
Yeah,
exists.
it was like it was a weird image, but it looked like Morpheus. So yeah, he had connected the dots somehow.
My next note confirms what you said, Brett. Hard not to geek out during the simulator scenes.
Yeah.
Like that's as a high school kid watching it or middle school or whatever.
Those
like,
are awesome.
You're like, oh yeah, download Kung Fu into my brain. This is what I need.
Well, for a long time, when I didn't understand Keanu Reeves quite as much as I feel like I do now, I used to just think, man, anybody can just say, I know Kung Fu. Like, it doesn't take that great of an actor to wake up and go, I know Kung Fu.
Do you guys think he's a good actor?
I do.
Dude, he said okie dokie, and I was like, he nailed it. He said okie dokie, and there's the way and the delivery. He nailed it.
All right. Well, I will admit I have not seen John Wick, but those movies look super
They're
cool.
awesome.
But take out Matrix and John Wick and tell me what you've seen him in that you think he's a good actor.
Well, I don't know, but I remember Speed was an amazing movie. I remember thinking Speed was really great.
I think I left my phone upstairs.
Speed. I mean, so he's known for Speed. He's known for a lot of like he's always like a California kid. Bill and Ted's Adventure.
Oh, dude, I've watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 45 times.
Of course you have.
That was my jam. Of
course
dude.
you have.
I loved that movie. I loved that movie.
So like he plays with Pacino, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit.
In what?
Devil's Advocate.
Yo, man, that movie is messed up.
That movie is messed up, but he's just like I just feel like he's an over actor, maybe stoned during
Is
it.
he
Like he's
him?
just
Is it him?
It's
Is that
him.
who he is?
yeah.
Well, then he's not.
But he's a
overacting.
likable guy, and I think he's actually gotten a lot better in his roles. Like I think
Yeah.
he was great in The Matrix, and I think he was great in John Wick.
Do you remember the first time you watched it?
He excels when it comes to the action stuff.
Right.
Because he really does it. He does it the right way.
But if you
And he
take other
knows this
action
stuff.
stars like a Bruce Willis or like a Tom Cruise, for instance, like Tom Cruise can nail regular acting without the action.
But Tom Cruise's action scenes don't, like his fighting close up, all of that stuff is not as good.
What are you talking about?
It's not as good.
You stop that.
It's not as good. I didn't say it was bad. I said it's not as good.
I'm also.
There's
I'm
not one person in this world that believes that Keanu Reeves' action movies scenes are better.
No. He
than
said close up.
Literally
close
everyone.
on combat is what he's
What are
saying.
you talking about? Tom Cruise's
This is
close
a
up.
widely accepted fact.
That is not even close.
I'm
to a
definitely
fact.
not a Tom Cruise fanboy.
Bro. Are you being serious
Yes,
right now?
I'm
Are you
being serious.
trolling me?
No, I'm not trolling you.
You are trolling me on
No.
this podcast.
No.
Tom Cruise's hand-to-hand combat action scenes are incredible.
They're
Mission
not as good.
Impossible, Minority Report.
They're not as good.
Then Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
What, besides the slow-motion kung fu, what are you even talking about? Like so are you talking about John Wick?
Yeah.
Okay. So John Wick was shot with a really interesting, like, filming. But if you take out like that filming element,
I'm
like
just
the actual
saying.
hand-to-hand combat scenes, like Tom Cruise's are amazing.
I didn't say they're bad. I said they're not
And
as
he does
good.
his own stunts.
Well, Keanu Reeves does a lot of his own stuff too.
Rem hates Keanu Reeves.
I don't hate him. I just don't think he's a good actor.
Doesn't like The Matrix.
When did you realize
That's
what
probably
was?
why I'm not as big of a fan of The Matrix because
Yeah.
of Keanu Reeves.
It might be.
You're gonna hate my ranking. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my gosh! If you give this a 9,
Oh, dude,
if he gives this a 9,
buckle up, buckle up. When did you realize what was going on when he wakes up in the real world, which is his basically getting sucked as a battery? I didn't realize it until this time I watched it.
that was what was
real,
happening.
Like really understood. Like, oh, they're powering all of the AI.
I got that.
They already explained it.
but I didn't
No.
get it. I didn't get it.
Well, yeah, they were. So what I don't get though is when they flush him, why do they don't just kill him? So the robot says, "Okay, you're disconnected. We're just going to flush you." Why would the robot just let him go free?
Do you think the
No,
robot
they
flushed
hacked him. That was their.
The robot was a hack.
Yeah, they had hacked the robot.
Oh,
that
I
was
didn't
their.
catch
That was those guys.
Because
That
they
was
choke him. Like
Bruiser,
he holds him up by
Bruiser
their
or
neck.
whatever. Yeah, those guys
Oh.
used that robot. Like that's what. Remember?
And then they flush
had
him
to
down, they
find
catch
him.
him.
And
So
here's
they had to locate
yes,
him.
yes.
I
So
missed
they
that.
had hacked into the system.
Okay.
They were able to go find out where he is in these fields.
By the way, you're talking about Tank. I
Tank.
think my note on Tank, because I've obviously seen
it was
it
one of
before,
the two of them.
I wrote down, I just remember loving Tank and that he dies, which was obviously not fully. But Tank is a great character.
Oh yeah.
Tank's gotta be a character where, like, if you, like, we're trying out for another role.
Zion. That's the other thing. Very biblical.
Ooh, and that's in the second one, big time, right? Like,
Well, yeah, they
goes-
go to Zion. Yeah.
Tank's a role where I'm sure you're
Hunger Games or Matrix.
dude, Jennifer Lawrence. You're gonna make me pick between.
I would
Jennifer
pick
am.
The Matrix for sure.
Matrix.
Oh my god!
Well, Hunger Games is good, but the third and fourth one were pretty bad.
There's a fourth Hunger Games.
Well, they split up the third book into 2 movies.
I'm not positive I've seen the fourth one. I have read the books though.
They're great.
The books
Man,
are
I read the first one on a plane. Not
good. Have you
knowing
read
that
Songbirds and have you read Songbirds and Snakes and Songbirds?
same author?
Yeah, it's the story of the king or whatever. Shoot.
It's like from the other perspective.
It's the story of him. What's his freaking name?
Yeah.
White.
The king. Okay, the king of the
Again,
Hunger
producer
Games.
Nate over here, not typing anything. He's literally
producer
typing
Nate is like,
nothing.
oh man, yeah. Tell me what is it?
Well, the White, who's the
Hunger Games president.
emperor or whatever, the president, President White. There we go, President White.
Yeah.
It's his rise to power.
Is it
So
Philip
it's
Seymour
it's,
Hoffman?
it's when he was a kid.
Prequel.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's character?
No, it's
That reminds me of Ender's Game. and
President
Ender's-
Snow. That's what it is.
White.
Cornelius
Vegas over
Snow. Man, I couldn't.
It
Come
reminds
up
me
with
of. Did you ever read Ender's Game?
Yeah, a long time ago.
So there's Ender's Scroll and Ender's Shadow, which is the same story but from another character.
well, this is a prequel. This is years before Hunger Games.
All good, all fantastic. We should do that for the podcast.
It's
What?
actually the story
Ender's
of
Game?
Divergent?
the very first Hunger
Divergent
Games.
is a poor man's Hunger Games.
I don't agree.
What you like it better?
I don't know that I like it better, but I like it different.
What's her name?
What's her face?
Shiloh Woodley or whatever.
Yeah, it's what's her face.
It's basically. Do you like her or Jennifer Lawrence better? And
So-
the answer is
No,
Jennifer
that's
Lawrence.
not
Here's
what it
the
is.
problem
It's
if
a
you read
completely
those
It's
books.
not great.
Hunger Games are way better.
Way better.
Yeah.
I haven't read the books, but I've heard people who read the books like the books better for Divergent.
If you talk to a woman, I get it.
Oh, yeah, it was my wife, I think.
because it's like the
I
only
might have one source on
like
this.
the Divergent books are basically just like her
From an
struggling.
empathetic-
No, her struggling with like her love interests and all this stuff. And
Marcus
what's
is
so funny is
His face. I wish
Marcus
we had
is
the
so
face.
unapologetically a guy film guy. We're
No,
getting so much
I-
fan mail saying,
I
"Can you
would
guys
be
do
happy to do
anything besides a guy movie?"
I would be happy to do like chick flicks or romance or whatever, but like it's just such a teenage romance book. It's
So it's
just
like a
come
Twilight.
on.
type
I
thing?
enjoyed the movies.
Yeah,
though.
it's like a less
I do like the utopian.
the dystopian.
dystopian.
Mhm.
I like that. I
No,
like
me
that
too.
stuff.
I
That was
like
hot for some.
I like the idea behind it all, and I've read both of the. I've read all the. Divergent
What's
books.
what's the one with Denzel where he's where you find out at the very end he's blind?
Oh,
Book of Eli.
Book of Eli had no idea he was blind.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
had
not
no
supposed to know he's blind.
That's incredible.
That's a great
I usually
movie.
see that big of a twist So
That is an awesome twist.
Book of Eli. I
Book
just
of Eli
ruined it
is
for you.
awesome.
Yeah, we did.
But like Mad Max, like those.
Book of Eli might be
Yeah,
nine.
I
End of the
love
world
dystopian stuff. I love it.
How about this question, and then we'll get back to what are we on? Matrix.
Yeah.
All right. How about this question? I want you to. You might have to munch on this. You might have to munch on this for a really good answer, or maybe we just throw it out there and then we think about it over the course of the next couple episodes. But what end of the world movie, whether it's zombies or robots, do you think has it the most accurate?
Oh man.
Because think about it, like you've got like even just Will Smith movies. He went down this path of like zombie movies,
I Am
robot
Legend.
movies, I Legend, I Robot, I Am Legend,
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend, I Robot, Zombie Apocalypse, or
Which one has it most right?
Yeah,
Probably Casablanca. All right, so
what's happening?
Because they made it about the day, about what was happening.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
well, it could have been the end of the world.
Huh? Get out of town.
Hey,
So
what'd you find out
ridiculous.
about Keanu's
Wall-E.
training for
That's
this
what
movie?
has the rest.
Did you even do your homework?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did.
Keanu's
Wall-E.
training for this movie. I would love to know.
Remington, Wally.
Wally,
There you go.
Dude, what's
dude,
the new-
Wally could be close. Like at least like how fat and out of shape we all get.
So I always have a show.
Except for RFK, man, he's bringing us
I always
back.
have
baby.
a-
That's right.
I always
Make
have a
America
show
healthy
that
again.
I always have a show that I like work through on Mondays, especially when I'm in my office. So it's usually something that I've watched before that I don't really have to pay any attention to, and I can actually get work done. And so what it's been for the last several Mondays is the 100.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that show might be right in the
Really?
future. Totally could be right.
What is the? Give me the 30-second synopsis.
So basically, they're I'll give away too much.
Okay.
So it starts off with these people living in space,
Uh-huh.
and there was this cataclysmic event where the humans had killed each other, basically with the nuclear war.
Yep.
And made
They
the
come
Earth
back.
unlivable.
So these are the survivors.
But they had sent people up into space,
Just in case.
like engineers and doctors and
Yep.
all kinds of stuff. No, because they knew this was happening. It
Yep.
was the plan. 100 years later, the spaceship's running out of oxygen, and they decide to send 100 criminals down to the ground. But the only criminals they have are kids that are under 18. So they send 100 kids that are under 18. Find out there's people on the ground. There's all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
There's like
geez.
6 seasons of it. It's pretty good.
Geez, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Alright.
just found my next. We're on Lost season 4.
Oh, I love Lost.
Yeah.
Dude, season
5. We're on season 5.
once you get done with season 5 of Lost, you don't really need to watch it.
Stop
anymore.
it. Stop saying words.
Okay, fine.
I
my
love
first time.
The ending.
I really
bother me.
like Lost. Lost is great.
I think I know what the ending is. I'll tell you later. All right.
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it. That's why I said stop saying words.
I've seen it.
Stop saying
I've
words.
seen it twice, and I still don't know what the ending is.
All right, I'll tell you.
So are you to the button yet?
Stop, bro.
I'm just-
I don't
Of course he-
understand
yes,
why I
he's
keep
definitely
saying
to the button.
stop saying.
Just say yes or no.
Yes,
Well,
he's
but
to the
if I say
button.
yes, then you're gonna say, "Are you to the
No, I'm just.
the black cat that?" No.
You know about the black cat?
Stop. All right, so you asked about like the training and stuff. So what's interesting is we've talked about like how people will conceal injuries and like certain things, like actors and actresses at certain points in their career do certain things because they need to get to the next level. So the chick who plays Trinity, what's her name?
I don't know.
All right, we'll look that up. But she is essentially here. I'll look it up right now. Her name is Carrie Ann Moss. Carrie Ann Moss.
Did you use the chip in your brain?
Yeah,
That's good.
Carrie Ann Moss sprained her ankle, I think, on like day 1 of filming and concealed it. Like
Yeah.
a pretty bad sprain because she was in fear of being replaced.
Dude,
Yeah.
actors go through this stuff, man. It's
And we're
really
reading- we're
impressive.
Because think about it, she probably just would have been replaced.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're reading Pacino's book right now.
Yeah.
He misses the car
Yeah.
in that scene, day 2 of filming or something like that.
Yeah. He was almost replaced in his most epic role of all time. But we'll get to that. All right, so here's a fun fact about Keanu. Keanu, prior to production, suffered a 2-level fusion of his cervical spine, which had begun to cause paralysis in his legs.
Holy
now,
cow.
think about this role for him, okay? Requiring him to undergo neck surgery. He was still recovering during pre-production, but insisted on training. Stunt coordinator let him practice punches and lighter moves. Trained hard, but if you notice, did not have much kicks in the film for that reason.
Interesting.
So I wonder if they changed some choreography because of that. I'm assuming they had to.
I mean, imagine, so like you're Keanu and you basically have spine surgery and they're not going to replace you, but this chick sprains her ankle and she's worried about getting replaced.
Commitment, man. Got to show up to fight.
Did I tell you guys what that Somali pirate got paid on Captain?
No.
I'm the captain now.
We are all over. You can tell we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks.
Well,
We're
I
all over the
just see
place.
these things. I think you know who listens to the show? Instagram. Because I'm in an echo chamber of all the things we talk about. So the kid that played the Somali pirate, I think he won an award with Tom Hanks, the black dude.
Yeah, I think he did.
And
Or
then he
he's at
went
least
back and he
nominated.
started selling cell phones in the mall. This is a true fact. Like as soon as he was done, like he didn't have enough money. They paid him like $65,000. He wins an Oscar and doesn't get any more roles.
Wow.
So like that's just the world these guys
Wow.
live in. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, I think we can definitely get into that when we talk about the Sonny Boy book, because
Yeah.
that was one of the most interesting things, was the insights into Hollywood.
Weren't you
that I
guys
wasn't
like so shocked how he's just a
aware
dude?
of?
Yeah.
He's just a dude.
We'll
In
get
so
there.
many ways.
We'll get there.
Favorite fight scene of the movie? Which
Ooh, that's a good
one would you
question.
pick? I'll start. It's Morpheus and him.
Kung Fu
Oh,
training.
really?
And here's
In
the
the
deal.
training.
Here's the deal. Like obviously the most important was the end with the agent, and you're surprised. Like, but the best pure like just fight scene. Yes, the training was.
It was
just
cool when
so
he
cool.
finally started throwing like the 1,000 punches in a second kind of thing.
That's
like,
very-
why are you trying?
My
Yes.
favorite part of the fight scenes is when he decides he's gonna stop these bullets,
Mm-hmm.
and then he realizes, oh, I am the one that can manipulate the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
and then the agents are scared,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that part.
What was unclear to me that maybe you guys know, so the agents would take the form of whoever's there. That's how they would travel. Like if there was a cop that's right next to Keanu, they'd be like, I'm taking over that cop's body. Now I'm that cop.
Yep.
Is the agent...
Which is how people would have known what Morpheus looks like, by the way. You were saying that he
Morpheus
figured
would
out
throw
what
himself
Morpheus
in.
looks like. Well, the agents were always looking for Morpheus. So if the people within the Matrix knew what Morpheus looked like, and if he was wanted, then they would be able to see him. And if they see Morpheus and the agents are plugged into them, or they have a general idea of where he is, then they can
Oh,
take over
interesting.
for that person that saw Morpheus.
So are the agents an actual entity that has a being or form?
No, they're the
No,
AI.
they are the AI. The AI created it itself.
So what's to keep them from having 1,000 agents, which probably happens in 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Well,
see,
you also you
this
don't-
isn't fair
but,
of you.
But you don't. But you
It
don't want
is
to
not fair of you to be so disparaging of this trilogy when
but-
you don't even
no,
know what
no,
happens.
I have an answer. I have an answer. You don't want to cause. You don't want to cause. You don't want to cause everybody that you're trying to convince this is real.
Oh,
you don't
with
want
a
to
bunch
cause
of-
them to like be like, wait a second.
Oh, that's very Inception.
Yeah, like the
Like in
Inception, when they
Inception,
start realizing, things are
it's
off,
a
and
dream,
they
start
start.
staring at you.
exactly. So it's a great movie.
Such a great movie.
That movie really.
Inception's way better than Matrix.
No.
I don't remember the first time I saw it thinking Cypher was gonna be the Judas-like character.
They tell you instantly.
This time I'm like, why didn't I know this?
Yeah.
There's so many red flags.
Well, I mean, it's they don't wait till the end of the movie. They tell you instantly this guy's the bad guy.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting to me.
I did not catch on. Yeah, Cypher is Judas. They let us know pretty quick.
I had a couple leadership points that I really took from this.
Go for it.
Just this idea, and I'll kind of compact 2 points that I wrote down, but I feel like Morpheus and the Oracle are really kind of working together to pull out of Neo what he needs and
Yep.
what they see in him. Like they're telling him what he needs to hear, and just great leaders. Like Morpheus he's not worried about building somebody that's more powerful than him.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what great leaders do is they want to make people be better than they were at that specific thing. And a lot of leaders are scared to do that,
No
but I
ego
thought
at
they
all.
did a really
I'm gonna
good
die
job.
for this guy. I'm gonna die because I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I wrote that down because I thought that was really good. And then when we used to do team meetings for Matrix, and this was definitely when we went to Darren Graham and
Yep.
we heard about this, we'd put all the green streamers around and I would play the red pill, blue pill thing. And I realized when I was watching this movie that if I was doing it today, I actually would play the Oracle scene, which is a lot more subtle than you're choosing a red pill or a blue pill. But
Catch me up. The red pill is you're all in. I'm gonna work really hard. The blue pill is I'm just gonna kind of coast
Well,
because this
it's
is
basically
a sales thing.
Yeah, like, hey, you've been. He says something. I can't remember exactly what his words are, but it's basically like, you've known your whole life. You're built for this. Blah 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 blah. That kind of a thing. So you can go back down. You can go back to living the life that you always were, or you can choose to basically be exceptional, know the truth, that kind of a thing. So that's the idea when you're like going to a big push week or something like that. You're like, look, you've been living this way.
We know what that is.
This way is going to unlock something in you.
Okay, I like it.
You can pick that.
So you're saying you would play the Oracle scene because she tells him what's it. You keep saying this, and I think I know what you mean, but I'm not quite sure. So she tells him he's not the one.
She does.
And you're saying she tells him what he needs to hear because he wants to prove her wrong?
Because I think that she knew that would cause him to act and think a certain way that would lead him to realizing himself that he is the one versus like
Needing someone else to tell him.
if somebody's totally that defeats the purpose of how he was gonna.
Well, she also tells him that Morpheus believes it so much that he's gonna
have to. Yeah,
he's willing to die, and he's gonna sacrifice himself for Neo.
It was
and
kind
that
of a
Neo's
cheat
going to
code,
have to choose.
because Morpheus says, she told you what you need to know.
yeah.
She told you what you need to hear. How does he say it?
The exact word was, "What was said was for you and you alone." Because he goes
That's
tell
a little
him,
cryptic.
and he's immediately like, "No, what? That was for you."
But what we're assuming is that the Oracle has told him that he's going to know who the one is, like in that John the Baptist vein.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
And then this doesn't have anything to do with the biblical, but she tells Trinity that she's going to fall in love with the one.
Yeah.
You know? And so they're now both convinced. Other people are just following along because Morpheus is so convinced. But those two specifically.
But he never had like a
No.
lightning bolt scar on his face, so I was just confused.
Did that happen?
That makes sense. I mean, nothing like that. He had the bug that like went inside of him.
Oh man.
Do you remember?
How disgusting
Dude,
is that?
that-
Reed freaked out.
Dude,
I
that
forgot that it was like that vivid.
Yeah,
and he
graphic. They do not
Reed-
take the camera off.
Reed
of
was
it.
That-
losing it a
and
little bit on
when
that part.
when Neo asked for his phone call and he's like, "What good is a phone call when you can't talk?"
Yeah.
Oh,
and his
yeah.
mouth gets. There was a couple.
So
CGI moments that were great.
Was the agent doing that knowing they're going to play some sort of Men in Black, like, we'll look at this light thing and you're going to forget about it in the morning, or you're going to think it's a dream, so I'm okay bending the rules? Is that what's going on in that scene?
Yeah. Well, he's trying to freak him out so that he goes and works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Right.
because he knows how powerful.
Well,
he could be.
specifically
So
for
they're like
specifically for
confirming,
Smith.
hey, this exists.
Well,
We're going
they're-
to show you the power
they're-
of it.
But within that world, they were calling him a computer hacker. They were saying he's dangerous. Like, think like the NSA or something is coming to you and telling you, hey, we know that you've got all of these things that you've been doing. We want to put your powers towards catching this hacker because he is endangering the entire and all of humanity, right? And that's when he's like, how about I give you the finger, you know? And then he says, I want my phone call. And then they're manipulating the Matrix to to freak him out. Knowing that they can shift anything. They can put him right back in bed.
It's
or
almost.
whatever.
It's hey, I want to fear you into being on our team.
Well, they want him to think it's a dream at that point because he's refused them.
Right.
So they
So-
want him to think it's a dream.
Yep.
How about this? The Agent Smith is also a prisoner.
Yeah, he hates it.
He
hates
hates
people. He hates being
Yes.
in there.
but
Which
he's
is
stuck in
weird.
there.
When that happened, and you're talking about, he's talking to Morpheus, I believe, correct? When he reveals that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Because
Mor-
he like wipes the sweat off of his head and
Yes.
sticks it up into his nose, and that scene is
So what?
awesome.
So if he's the AI,
Mr. Anderson.
he's not necessarily. Yeah, it is. It's he despises having to be in this situation.
Yeah, he wants to
Fully
essentially
embodying the
be
fact that he feels,
free,
yeah.
even though his entire identity is making sure that the Matrix exists.
Yeah.
So that these humans,
Policing.
well, he's basically just chasing down all these hackers all the time. But if there's no hackers, and if he can get into the Zion mainframe,
then
And
his job's
can
over. Then
if he can get rid of all the real humans who have been unlocked, then there's nothing. There's nothing left for him to do. He'll be free.
We need to get to some of the fun facts because it's not gonna blow your mind, but it's gonna make you see this movie differently.
Well, we're toward the end of
I'm
my...
okay with going to quotes.
So just one thing I wanted to say. Remember when Cypher is yelling at Trinity? She's laying in
Yes.
the chair. So think about this. They actually had to be nose to mouth in real life.
Oh yeah. When he hops on the lap of Morpheus.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some good acting. I always thought that guy was Bill Burr. I get that guy and Bill Burr mixed up.
They do have Bill Burr.
He's in Bad Boys 2 as well.
Bill Burr or this guy?
This guy.
Bill
The
Burr's
comedian?
Yeah, Bill Burr and this guy whose name
Cypher?
Cypher, who's Joe Pantoliano. Pantoliano.
Pantalones.
Pantalonesiano.
Could use some. What was that called? Was it Pantalones tequila? I could use that.
I can't remember if we like that or not.
It was good. It was fine.
Last thing.
Just average, I would say.
Oh, I love this quote. Are we on quotes yet?
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Okay.
Brett still has something.
Well, just Marcus didn't bring it up, and he was really... I mean, literally, Neo has a resurrection during the film. It's...
No, that's not the resurrection. It's in the third one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Never mind. We're good.
But he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
is he dead?
I think so.
In the first one? In this one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How's he dead?
Well, he gets shot.
Sprayed.
He's
He
not
gets
dead.
sprayed with bullets.
He's not dead.
Not if a kiss wakes him up.
Yeah. He's not dead. He's only mostly dead.
I wrote that down. That was a hidden gem.
All right. Quotes.
To blame. Liar. Liar.
Get back, witch.
Quotes. No,
Witch,
Lieutenant.
I'm your wife.
Your men are already dead.
I wrote that down.
That's when I
a good
realized something going on here.
I think Nate sent us that one too when he was watching.
Yes.
Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, that there's a difference between knowing a path and walking the path.
Ooh.
We've talked about that on the show.
So that was the
Knowing is not doing.
yeah.
Yes.
Knowing
Marcus?
is not doing. That is a common thing within the three of us talking about that.
for sure. Knock knock Neo. When that shows up on his screen. So I don't know if you guys probably have never picked up on it. I don't know if I've ever done it to you or not, but if I'm ever picking somebody up at their house,
You'll text them that?
no, I'll text them a white rabbit.
Oh, nice.
I text them a
Follow the white rabbit?
I text them a white rabbit.
You've picked me up hundreds of times and I've never gotten a text of a white rabbit.
Yeah, you definitely have. If I'm waiting in my car, I will text you a white rabbit, and then most people don't get it, and then I have to be like, knock knock Neo.
And then they're still like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I like a lot of Morpheus quotes. This is what you said earlier, but this is the exact quote. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Mm-hmm. You even got your voice deeper for that one. I liked it.
This microphone's really good.
They're getting ready to... they basically pick him up off the street, and he can leave out of the car if he wants to. And they say, because you've been down that road, and you know exactly where it ends. And that's where he finally starts to come around and be like, all right.
Yeah, I love that scene. I love that little interaction.
Dude, the scene, the rain, all of it.
Because how is that's in our own lives. We know how it plays out. We know what that does. We know the mediocrity or the even less than that is.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we choose that?
I'll say it right now because it's on the screen. Quote, do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Realize the truth. The spoon doesn't exist. Which, if that was real,
What a cool kid.
that that would be the way to realize. That's like lucid dreaming. Like, once you realize you're dreaming, you can do whatever you want in the dream. Like, that's basically what
You just said that you don't have vivid dreams, and now you're talking about lucid
I said. I
dreaming?
do have vivid dreams.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I missed that too.
You have the look of a man who accepts what he sees because he expects to wake up.
Who was that? The agent?
That's in just a second.
The Oracle.
Oracle?
One of my favorite parts of that scene is her saying, "Don't worry about the vase,"
Yeah.
and he
that's
knocks
good.
over the vase.
Oh, Maybe it's not the Oracle. It's either the Oracle or Morpheus. I can't
Hey,
remember.
riddle me this. This is what I don't understand. Here's the quote. Neo says, what are you trying to tell me, that I could dodge bullets? Morpheus goes, no, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to. But he does freaking have to dodge bullets.
No, he doesn't.
No,
he stops
that's
the
the
bullets
whole
in
point.
midair.
Oh, so that's what he's saying.
He gets
Rem,
shot
you-
by bullets at one point in time.
Rem showed up
I get it.
with
I get
an
it now.
agenda.
100%.
No, I didn't. I like this movie.
We can tell.
When you start saying blasphemy, like it's better than Batman and The Dark Knight,
I didn't say that.
I did.
I'm talking about Mangus over
Well,
here.
he really likes it, man.
I think if you watched all three of these and then you watched all three of the Dark Knight trilogy, I think you would come away with the same opinion.
I just think that The Dark Knight itself as a movie, a standalone in itself, once you add the trilogy to it, it's just impenetrable. It's so good.
But you
It's
would pick
that
Lord of the
good.
Rings over it?
I don't know if I'd pick Lord of the Rings over it. I need to go back through the rankings.
Two very different categories.
I actually like The
Very different
Hobbit
movies.
better than Lord of the Rings. If we're talking about just movies, I actually like The Hobbit better than Lord of the Rings.
Which Hobbit? The first one?
If we're talking about trilogies, I like The Hobbit better.
The Hobbit trilogy better than the Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
trilogy.
and I like both. I like both a lot, and I like Star Wars probably a little bit better than that too. We didn't talk about Star Wars. Star Wars or Matrix?
Oh, man.
Oh, really? Did I find the one that makes you think over there, Mangus?
So my first time watching
I would
Star Wars was
probably
with you.
go Star Wars.
Wow!
And I ripped through Star Wars.
with me.
Well, I
Was
watched
this back in the day?
Yes, this was I don't know,
Like when we were
10 years ago.
Oh wow!
And then I was like, I gotta watch all these.
Did you watch them in order that they were made, or the order that they are?
The order in which they were released,
That's good. That's the way.
because
you
I
need to do
looked
it.
up what's best.
That's the
Yeah,
way
and
you
I'm talking about like the original Star Wars, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
At this point, I'm just talking about franchises in general. But yeah, I would say. But honestly, the new one they released. And so I was a kid when they came out with the second one. I didn't know it was bad until now.
Oh yeah, the
Like this-
prequel series.
Yeah,
yeah.
Anakin and all that. Like
Yeah.
I was in love
I
with
loved
Natalie
those.
Portman.
Yeah, I loved those.
I read the books. Could not wait for the movies. Did not know that Jar Jar Binks
I had
was
all the
racist
Mountain
and
Dew
all that.
cans and Pepsi cans.
I actually loved
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Taco Bell. Oh my
all of it. I had all
love
of it.
Taco Bell.
Episode 7 and Episode 8 were very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, the new ones.
Yes.
Oh, that whole trilogy is fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought that the new ones were fun, but not like as good. I think if I
Really?
was gonna take like the new trilogy, 7, 8, 9, I would pick Matrix over those. But you know what movie is really good is the Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is
Yeah,
just
some
a
of the
standalone?
spin-offs.
Just
some of
a
the spin-offs are
standalone-
really good.
yeah. Rogue One is fantastic.
Quote.
We're,
What is
we're
he
in
doing?
Great time right now. Normally we start quotes right now.
What is he doing?
Come on, producer Nate.
He's beginning to believe.
Yeah.
He just didn't care about your Star Wars takes.
This will feel a little weird.
Is that when they take the thing in?
Yeah, that's when they're putting
my
that
gosh,
thing
why
into
is
his
that?
head.
Why is that needle so long for the back of his neck, his head?
Oh. It really doesn't make sense. Where does it go?
Dude.
It goes into his brain.
More quotes?
Mouse. To deny our own impulses is to deny the very thing that makes us human.
Yeah.
Come
don't
on.
listen
Calm
to
down.
these hypocrites.
I hope you were sitting with Reed for that one.
Mouse is a good character. It's fun.
People are so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it.
What do you do with this quote? Never send a human to do a machine's job.
Wow.
I got on
really
stage.
spun it on us.
I got on stage, and I'm in real estate.
Are you saying that the machine could have done the speech better than you?
I don't know if not the speech better. Could have written it better. There may become a time where the speech is better by a machine, but I am in real estate, and I get up on stage, and I have this take on AI or anything that's a disruptor. That if you're viewing it as a problem, like it's going to take your job or make things hard or scary, I think you're behind the game.
Yeah.
I think if you see it as a tool to help you, because I firmly believe that even if there's bad guys on the side of a thing, Like, let's say bad guys take over AI, which is really scary because if you think about it, if Elon's right and we all have a bunch of electric cars out, a bad guy can get
Press
it,
a button.
press a button, and now all those people just die.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. But I have to hope and believe that there's enough good guys that are just as smart also battling that side. Because in the history of man, there's been bad guys that took advantage of horses, that took advantage of cars, guns, all these things. But we have enough good guys that are also fighting that side. So we've got good guys on the AI
this
side
was
too.
to take this episode kind of full circle. This was the argument between Plato and Aristotle, right? Is that Plato hated rhetoric. He felt like it was only like using words to persuade others, right? To impact their emotions and to persuade others and do these things.
Isn't that what he was doing?
Was evil.
Isn't that what he was doing?
No, Plato was all about philosophy. So he would let people essentially come to their own conclusions by asking all of these different questions and things. And this idea of rhetoric and influencing and manipulating people, he thought was essentially evil. Whereas Aristotle said, yeah, but if it's going to be used for evil, we need to understand it. We need to know how we're being manipulated, and we need to be able to counteract that as well. And, that was the AI of the day, all right, is what's up and coming. It's just fascinating to think about it that way. It's like, this is here, this exists. What are you going to do about it? Are you just going to ignore it? Are you going to educate yourself? Just because you're educated on it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to use it, but maybe you will, maybe you won't. But you've got to be so strong morally. You've got to know where you stand and where you stand on the moral or grounded side of things to be able to make the right decision.
Yeah,
Which reminds
ignoring
me-
it usually doesn't pay off.
Reminds me
very
of
well.
what Socrates said. Know thyself.
There you go.
Yeah, we just brought that full circle with 4 different philosophizers.
Was Socrates even a
life.
person? That's a real question.
You think he was like Job and he was just a story passed down?
Well, Socrates shows up in a lot of people's writings as a character, but he never actually has anything that he wrote that's attributed to him, which is
Gosh,
interesting.
I think all my favorite quotes in this movie are Morpheus. By the way, I said Job and you guys just went right past that, so I guess we're going to save that for a different day.
More
Morpheus,
quotes. Go ahead.
Don't think you are, know you are. We could write a whole business
you
seminar on Matrix quotes.
Do you
Morpheus
believe it
great.
now, Trinity? I like that part.
Kind of like you feel like he's saying, told you so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's,
That is a very Marcus quote.
well, it's also interesting too because she's also got to be fighting against like, okay, if she's going to love the one and he's the one, does she love him? Does she not? Like, there's so many different angles to her having to believe that he's the one. Like, does
But then
she
it's even
love
like-
him
but
and
then
then
it's even
decide
like-
that he's the one?
Right.
Does
Or does she see
decide
he's
that
the
he's
one?
and she's like, do
Yeah.
I love him? I don't
Yeah.
know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I got some fun facts. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hidden Gems. Rem, kick us off.
So do you guys know where this was filmed?
No.
Australia.
Oh, wow.
For the simple fact that it was cheaper. The final budget was $60 million. If it would have been shot in the U.S., it would have been $180 million.
That's like 3 times as much.
That's like almost 3 times as much.
Wow.
But think about that. Like, there's a ton of fun facts, and some of them are honestly boring, but they just kept going back to the fact that they made budget cuts and budget decisions on this movie. And when you go back and watch this movie, especially knowing that it's 99, you're like, where did they make budget cuts?
Yeah.
There's
What was it gonna
so
look like?
much AI. There's so much like they crashed a plane so hard that the Sydney government almost shut them down because they
Wow.
destroyed so much. They're like, we think you're going to tear our city apart.
Oh, jeez.
That's awesome.
So like this, yeah, it was shot in Australia, and a lot of fun facts are around how they were trying to make it look like a U.S. city, and they just spent so much money trying to make it look like a U.S. city, but they still came out on top because it was like way under budget.
The only movie magic or fun fact that we haven't talked about for me was sunglasses. How do they do the sun, especially Morpheus's sunglasses? How do they do that? Is it put in afterwards?
Oh, I mean, it's a clamp. It's an actual sunglasses. So the iconic sunglasses.
Sunglasses like that exist?
Yeah. They were worn by the Matrix characters, are from the label, I think it's pronounced Blindy, with an E on the end, which prides itself on producing handmade glasses. The company's founder, Richard Walker, had to tender against large companies such as Ray-Ban and Arnett to win the film's sunglasses contract. When it was successful, he was flown to Sydney and spent the duration of the Matrix shoot custom designing these sunglasses. How cool is that?
Dude, the outfits were
I feel
on
like it would
point.
hurt to wear those sunglasses.
It was just like a...
Well, if they're form-fitting, it sounds like this guy is really committed to making sure they're custom.
They got to stay on somehow.
On the final scene, when he puts it on, like where the Oracle scene is, like you can see how it like kind of fits on.
We should have all gotten those for our podcast that's not on video.
All right, there was 4 different people who were seriously considered for the role of Neo. Get one of them in 3 guesses.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, Bruce Willis, keep going.
1999.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Vin Diesel.
Okay. Marcus, anyone else?
Leo.
You guys want to venture any more guesses? Because none of those are right.
I'm trying to think of
Edward Norton.
I'm trying to think of some big action star. Somebody.
No, but
Liam,
all of these,
Liam Neeson.
All of these actors worked closely with the actors that were actually considered. Brad Pitt and Val Kilmer. That's who Warner Brothers wanted.
Oh, Brad Pitt was one of them?
Yeah.
He was
but
on
obviously
the
he
tip
was
of my
doing
tongue.
Fight Club. Val Kilmer, I think, was Batman at the time.
Yeah.
And then who it really came down to was Keanu and Jack Sparrow himself, Johnny Depp.
What?
So here's my question. Who could have done it just as good, if not better? Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, or Johnny Depp?
Brad Pitt would be my pick.
Neo. Val Kilmer could have been the agent.
I feel like Johnny Depp can do about anything.
You think Johnny Depp could have played Neo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
It's so crazy.
It would have been
Could Johnny Depp play
different.
Batman?
It would have been very different.
Could Johnny Depp play Batman?
I feel like he would be a better villain.
Yeah, he would be a much better.
I
He
have a
could play
very hard
Joker
time
or-
picturing a movie different with a different actor. I have a very hard time.
Yeah, especially when they nail it. I mean, we're watching movies where like they nailed it.
Yeah.
If we watch like a crap movie, it'd be like, this person would be better.
Well, I think that he brings this like almost robotic nature to Neo
Yes.
that is clearly on purpose. But like it's almost like he's part of the computer.
Yeah.
We've brought up Will Smith. This is my final fun fact.
Was he considered for this?
He was.
Yeah.
So Will Smith was approached to play Neo, but turned it down in order to play Wild Wild West, which was a great movie for him.
Yeah, especially because he had the song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was great for his rap career, acting career. But here's what's interesting. He later admitted that at the time he was not mature enough as an actor and would have messed up the role.
Good for him.
And he said Keanu was a perfect number
Good
one.
for him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My hidden gem, he says, a Sentinel machine is designed for one thing: search and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 things. That's 2 things. Come on. Jeez.
That is true. That's like blatantly 2 things.
Yes. You use the word and everything.
That's so good.
All right, rating time. I'll kick us off.
Hey, wait. Was it you that told me that Terminator was in the same
100 years before this.
So the take is that Terminator, like James Cameron said,
That's the beginning of
you
it.
guys, I predicted this a long time ago. The Terminator is actually going to happen. AI is going to take over, and Terminator takes place 100 years before Matrix.
And that's where AI actually starts to take over.
And this is James Cameron's take.
No, this is the woman who actually created the stories for both. She created the Terminator story and the Matrix.
Oh.
And she sold it to the Wachowskis?
I don't know all those details.
All right, well, producer Nate will post this on Facebook.
Producer Nate, figure it out. All right, rating time.
Put it in the show notes.
I'll kick us off. Just a really upset Rem. 9.
Get
It is
out
a
of
9.
town.
It is an amazing movie. It is a 9. Marcus gives it an 8.1. It's gonna be great.
No.
I give it an 8.4. 8.4. I feel good. It's a solid 8.4. It's a solid 8.45.
Oh, going 2.
A
That's
solid
points.
8.457. It's a solid 8.457.
He's like, I want to give it an 8.5.
Megas, if
but-
you haven't decided what you're ranking it, by the time you get here, you're
No,
clearly
he's at-
using
he-
our
Yeah,
yes,
show
yes.
to
No, it's
yes, you are. You're
I'm
using
between
what we've
two.
said.
I'm between two rankings here. I'm just gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
Here's all I'll say.
Hold
Rem,
up.
If I didn't give it a 9, he wouldn't give it a 9. However,
Hold up.
I have
You
pull.
can't be
I have
between
pull.
2 and then just
I have
pick
pull.
a 9.
I have
No,
pull.
it was
A
either
9
it was
is
either
a 9.
8.9 or 9.
No. A 9 is a 9. You don't have to think about a 9, Gladiator boy.
Listen, you can do your thing. I'll do mine. All right, 9.
Hey, just let it be heard that I'm protesting this 9 of yours
Okay.
because you had to think about it.
Well,
Okay.
not protesting my
And
9.
when we get to the Dark Knight, you won't be like, let me think.
What's next?
You'll be like, 9, 9, 9.
Well, here, if you want to know, I came in saying that it was gonna be a 9, but I thought I was the only one that was gonna say 9, and Brett called it a 9, which made me question myself.
You know what? All of
Hey,
a sudden,
you know
all of a
what?
sudden, Rem's
I
like, that makes
accept
sense.
the brutality.
That makes sense.
The brutal honesty. I rest my case.
It's a 9, and I had a 9 in my notes. Marcus did not.
I don't
influence
write
me
my
in that.
I don't write my rating in my notes.
I had 9.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
forget that we rate it until we get to that.
But I
part.
can't. I did come in thinking it was a 9.
We've got Sonny Boy next. Al Pacino's memoirs.
Say hello to my little friend.
What a fun book. We'll see you next time.